Hey, this is Joel Cameron. Thanks for checking out this video. In this particular video, I'm going to take the overall drum mix, which I have done now, and I'm going to apply processing to the whole thing. What I'm going to do is parallel compression. Basically, here's the drum sound as we currently have it. And I've got the room mics, and I'm taking the more aggressive approach, the version 2 video for the room mics here. Mixing it in, getting a good roomy kind of sound, a little bit more of a natural use of it, not quite so crazy like it was in the room mic video itself. But when I mute it, it's clearly missing. So, some good room sound in there. Now I want to process the entire mix. Okay, well right now all of these are assigned to the stereo out, which is why you can hear them. What I'm going to do is I've highlighted all these. I'm going to put all these on a bus. Let's just say bus 3 and 4. No particular reason why 3 and 4, but just 3 and 4. And I am going to create 2 stereo aux inputs. This, by the way, is version 8 Pro Tools. I'm kind of behind the times on my laptop here, but it's still helpful. And I'm going to assign for both of these inputs bus 3 and 4. So what this means is when I hit play, the mix is going to be coming through both of these, which is going to make it doubly loud. So I'm actually going to mute one of them. So now here's the mix. With both of them, like I say, it's doubly loud. And now I'm going to process the whole thing with parallel compression. And what I mean by parallel compression is I'm going to have the dry signal coming through, and I'm going to layer parallel over the top of that a compressed version of it as well. Now, because this version of Pro Tools does not have delay compensation, I'm going to have to insert the compressor on both of these channels so that the timing, whoops, wrong button, so that the timing will be the same. And I'm just going to bypass one of them. The time delay is still there even within in bypass mode. It's just not doing any processing. But it does compensate for the delay created by the other one, which will be doing the processing. And I'll just tell you straight up, I'm going to do the fastest possible attack. I'm basically going to smash the snot out of this. I'm going to use a ratio of 2-to-1, threshold around 50, minus 50. So with a 2-to-1 ratio and a 50, minus 50 threshold, you're going to be getting about 25 dB of compression, which you can see is about what's happening. Fastest possible attack. The release is going to wind up being, I don't know, 200, 300, 400, somewhere around there. It depends on the tempo of the music and, you know, what you want it to sound like. I'm going to turn this down, and I'll start bringing it in. Oh, I need to do one more thing. Gain, because the output is so incredibly low. Look right there. I'm going to give it, just juice up the gain a bit. And then I'm going to dial some in to the mix. Listen. Mute it. So that's just the straight mix that we had before. When I bring the compression, the parallel in, it's big. Now that's a little much, it's a little over the top in my opinion, but I've got nothing else for it to compete with right now. No guitars, no other elements of an actual mix, so you get a lot of it. Again, mute it. It's more subtle down here, down lower. Without it, with it. Without it, and with it. Basically what it's doing, because the attack is so fast, it's really, really containing all the peaks of the mix. And the release is kind of a mid-release, and so it's not releasing really quickly. If I were to release quickly, you would hear a pretty dramatic effect, people might really like. But with a slower release, it's less obvious what it's doing. But basically, unless you're using a whole lot of it, what's really happening is that it's not really increasing, again, the overall amplitude, because all the peaks are being contained quickly. It's not really increasing the overall amplitude of the drums, although it is increasing in terms of a peak amplitude, but it is increasing your average amplitude of the drums. It's sort of filling in the spaces between all the transients, all the attacks, with more information. It gives more length and more body and more sustain to everything. So, again, if you just listen to it in and out, it's in. I mean, it's a big sound. It emphasizes the rooms as well. You can use less room mic as a result, particularly if you use more of the parallel compression. And then out. Back in. It just kind of smooths everything and gives it all more body. Now the danger is if you use too much of it, it sounds really, really cool, but if you use too much of it, you can wind up losing the definition and the transients, character of the drums, and they can wind up sort of losing their upfrontness. So you've got to use it judiciously. It's a great thing to do to give the drums authority and body and help them compete with some of the less transient, more sustaining sounds of the mix. But that is essentially it. I'm not doing any EQ. I'm not doing anything else. All I'm doing is just compressing the snot out of one mix of the drums and layering it, bringing it in a little bit with the original. So again, I'm just going to take it out and let you hear without it. That's straight up. And then as I bring in some of the parallel compression, just feel the body increase. And then if I take it out, it's like just someone sucked all the authority out of it. So that is it, parallel compression over the entire mix. I hope that's useful to you. Please check out my blog on recording related things at joelsmixup.blogspot.com, and I appreciate you watching.